was just kind of cleaning up a bit, staring at the screen every once in a while, the limited room. For some reason, just kind of being in the Magic environment, as it were. And I saw 7 people in the queue, so figured it was a good time to draft. It's funny, I like to just draft. I mean, it sounds stupid to say it, but just draft when I want to or when I feel it's optimal. It's kind of like that thing where if you're not 100% into it, don't even bother. Get psyched or whatever you gotta do, but make sure you get there before you start. Everybody loves the Nighthawk. How could you not? Oblivion Ring, like clearly and absolutely best card. Normally it might be tough between some of these picks, but having a white card means this guy's a lot better, of course. Better of a pick. This thing's solid. I don't know. I really like it. It's really, really good. So is the Prime Docs or the Prey Upon, mind you. Now this thing's solid, but this thing's better, I would say. Some good stuff. Like, wow. I'm gonna take the card that's gonna make the deck for sure. I don't like this card a lot, but it's pretty good. It works. I suppose if you were like mono blue or something and you ran into a Staff of Nin, you'd be ecstatic to have that. I passed so many of these. Wow. Well, a few. What? But this card's good even. Like, this is such a good card. So is this. Ridiculous. I mean, I've passed a lot of good green already, but I really wouldn't mind this thing. I don't love the rings, but this thing's pretty good. Especially, of course, when you've got some nice flyers like that. Now, Sentinel Spider is the pick, you may say. But there's another good green card too, so it's sort of like passing a lot of good green, especially like this even. You can justify taking this, I think. Even though Titanic Growth is better. It's funny, I can't speak. I've noticed ever since I started making these videos that, I guess I knew before, but how terribly my tongue works. I stutter and blah 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 blah. Which is fine, but as far as naming cards is concerned, it doesn't come out as quickly as one might like. On color mythic foil, why not? funny that it wasn't even open to that green, even though it was like ridiculous. You get married to an idea like the Vampire Nighthawk or something. Even with two cards like this, you can just overcommit. Just end up passing stuff that you really need. Put a lot of weight on this Oblivion Ring, mind you, so it sort of justified those picks, but passing all that green early was tough. Surprised myself with this pick. I used to think this one was the best if you had to pick one, but now I think it's this one probably. I really hate to pass that black card, the Knight of Infamy. Like, it would throw me into black a lot easier. But this is just too good. You'll see this like late. Probably because people aren't in white necessarily, but I mean, that card is really, really good. Planar Cleansing. Anytime you have a card that can, I've talked about it, but you know, wipe out everything really, like, just allows you that chance at victory when you're behind. A lot of good green. A lot of good cards in general. Dun, dun, dun. Like, look at this stuff. Pack Leader is so good. Probably the best card in the pack. Sweet. I think we all know that's the best pick. You can pause that if you have to look back and see which options were. No, I'm just kidding. It's pretty much you scan over everything. Mediocre creatures versus big flying classic vigilance. Or attacking does not cost a tap, as I like to think about fitness. Of course, I have to, for whatever reason. Hey, Clannies, what's going on? Two of the nicest guys you'll ever meet there. Anyways, yeah, I just have to show you what if you haven't had the, what's the word, pleasure of seeing the original best Sarah Angel picture in my humble opinion. Yeah, here she is. I was sort of going out on a limb with the Phantasm over the, was it the Shade? But I don't know, I guess I didn't really want to commit to black that heavily. Shade's like really good, but only when you're heavy black, and I'm just not even sure about black being a color even, so. It's not great in two colors, right? So it's a good pick, but it's one of those cards that has a lot more weight. Depends on your deck. Sometimes it's not nearly as good as other times being amazing. Like that dragon. The hatchling, I believe it's called. Sweet. Two good things, one worth a lot more than the other, so gotta take it. That's awesome though. I don't know what this guy's worth, but it's cool. Holy shit. It's a nice pack. Sleep. Or the geyser. The Searing Spear, rather. Or even the rats, I don't know. Oh, that's 2 ticks. I want to get really greedy. It's funny, I've had to debate between this knight and this flyer. And at first I thought this square for the first couple months, whatever it was, month or so. And recently I thought it was this for a week or two. Now I think the square is better. Even though this is clearly ridiculous. So is this. So is 2 tickets. I don't even know how it's gonna go. I might have to cut black, as sad as that is. And I could have just given it more effort at one point. But I just sort of, for some reason, let it die. Even though I had a lot of good cards and picked it high. As good as this guy is, it wasn't enough to throw me into red, even with an amazing second pick. Pack 3, that is. Of course, that's just my humble opinion. Just like nonchalantly, playing double mana spells for like a few cards is just so rough. Just like playing as Nighthawk. I mean, you have to really, really be committed to play double colored. I've just sort of done the 3-colored double spell thing before enough that I'm so scared off it. Or even just like splashing, even if you've just got a few of, let's say, 3 or 4 cards of a certain color and there's double mana spells. It's going to be really tough to do because you end up having to put enough lands to, support it, and then it messes up your other cards. I don't know, it's just a classic situation, I suppose. Just worry about your mana. I like the eagle. It's a little bit slow. You could arguably splash for this even if you wanted. Or you could arguably even just play black. Play these 5 cards. Even the Distant Tomb if you wanted. Fuck. Dress, play the whole thing. It's just like basically a sleep versus an execution. And then 2 Avens versus the Nighthawk. Bat's out there too. Anyways, it's really sad to do that, but I don't know, I sort of maybe just messed up the draft a little bit or whatever, enough to not commit to black as much as I should have. I should have just ditched blue, perhaps. But all in all, it wasn't terrible, I would say. I believe I've played Ojo Komojo before. kind of crappy, but I can rip my way out of this really quickly. Not to mention it could get a lot worse. Like 4 lands pretty much I have to keep, I don't know. Unless you don't have anything going on for some reason. But those 3 spells should certainly help you unless they're all like pump spells or something. For some reason I don't play these often, but they're really good. Or quite good anyways. Uh-oh. I guess it's not the worst thing. Thanks to my trick anyways. Especially if he blocks that. This means I take a lot back. Maybe I should just play it a little bit safer. Prevent 4 damage back, but at the same time, I'm trying to be aggressive and I don't want to lose all my guys, because if I rip a sleep, then I can still win, for example. And if I just kind of throw away all my threats to trade with this, I don't know if this thing can go the distance. I guess I sort of have to just consider what I'm trying to do now, whether I'm trying to buy time and stabilize or be aggressive and race. I should have traded. Well, even if I lose this, I'm glad to have this. Not sure what it's worth, but more than nothing. It's a little more work, but I'm sort of looking forward to tracking my ticks a little bit better. I hate those things. By that I mean I like them. Hmm. Too funny. Isn't that funny? I think it's funny. It's my fault for saying this thing wasn't as good as the flyer. He's out for revenge. Now that I don't get. And it's totally cool and everything. Just saying. Well, let's see here. What are my chances? I mean, if I block one, I go to 6, and he's got 2 creatures left. If I take it, I can gain 3, go to 4. I like that better. I'll just scoop it up graciously. See you guys later.